All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another live show with Gamecock Chuck. As y'all saw the title of the show, we're talking a little bit about Coach Beamer. This is year number 5 for him. You know, we buying or we selling what Coach Beamer has for the Gamecocks this year. Now, some people would venture to say, you know, this is a make or break year for Coach Beamer, a do or die year. I'm not so much on that bandwagon as far as that. Considering everything Coach Beamer has done for the Gamecocks. First of all, thanks everybody for tuning in. If you're tuning in now, if you're tuning in later, be sure to hit that like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. As I appreciate each and every one of you. Got a few people in here already. What's up, Jordan Dealmaker? David Green, TRD. How you doing? How y'all doing today? Jordan Dealmaker's already saying he's buying. David Green's buying Chuck. Okay, I'm not for sale, but I appreciate it. But yeah, what's up, Devil Dog? My man, Tiger Red Devil. But like I said, this is year 5 under Coach Beamer. And for some of you guys, it may be your first time in here checking this out, but there's really no script as far as this show goes. I'm going to try to stumble, mumble, and make it through about, 45, 50 minutes because I don't want to step on any toes with Carolina Jackpot Rob as they got their show coming on. I believe it's at 9 o'clock. So I don't want to step on anybody's toes as far as that. So we're going to try to make it through about, 45, 50 minutes of this nonsense. Hope I can keep everybody's attention. I do things a little bit different around here. I usually allow people to come on occasionally if they want to. I haven't had many people get on here with me. So if anybody wants to jump in, let me know and I'll drop the link. But yeah, like I said, some people seem to think this is a make or break year for Beamer when it comes to coaching. But like I said, I'm not on that. I like what Coach Beamer is doing, what he's got going. I like the trajectory of the program, the way it's headed in. Like I said, I think the sky's the limit for him. Not a bad showing for him for his being his first true head coaching job. He's been a couple assistants and things like that, but he's never been a real head coach. So to me, I don't think he's doing a bad job, honestly, as the head coach. First year with 7-5 or 7-6, went to a bowl game, beat North Carolina in the Dukes Mayo Bowl. He followed it up with year 2, going to the Gator Bowl with an 8-5 record. Lost that game to Notre Dame, another heartbreaking loss. I was there. It was an awesome game, back and forth matchup. But we didn't have all our starters in, so Notre Dame was able to, of course, come from behind and beat us in that bowl game. It was a great game all around. Then year 3, little disappointment, little letdown, 5-7, missed the bowl. And then last year, of course, a surprise year to a lot of people, myself included. I had South Carolina going 6-6, finished the year 9-4 with a trip to the Citrus Bowl, which I made my way down to Orlando. Me and my son, Zachary, my oldest one, we went down there and checked it out. Walked away with a heartbreaking loss to Illinois in that Citrus Bowl, but we had a good time. That's what matters, spending time with family and enjoying my son's company for the 2 days that we were down there. It was a great time, but like I said, overall, Beamer's really not being bad as a head coach, in my opinion. Yeah, a record don't pop off as being a stellar record, but, considering his first time being a head coach, what he had to work with, I think he's put together a solid future for Gamecock Nation. A lot of Gamecock fans can be proud or have a lot of hope for the future of this program, I think, in my opinion. Hold on one second, Jordan. I'll drop that link. Let me see if I can remember how to do it. But yeah, I think Gamecock fans have a lot of optimism, a lot of hope, or they should anyway. I know we got some Debbie Downers out there, some fans that you know, I guess they want that instant success. You know, that's the kind of world we live in today. Everybody wants that instant success. They don't want to, you know, build for the future. Don't want to, you know, put together, you know, a championship program. And to be honest with you, that's the world we live in, as well as far as the NIL and the transfer portal nowadays. You know, we also got that to contend with as well. So, I mean, I get it. I know everybody wants to have success right away, but sometimes things have to be built one step at a time. You can't just throw it all together and you know, be successful year one. Let's see if we can get Jordan in here. What's up, Deal Maker?
What's happening, Bubba?
Long time no here, buddy. On here.
I was about to say on here. Yeah, on here, but I mean, we talk every day. Come on.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm just saying on here. I ain't had you on in a while. But
yeah, I'm curious though of who you're referring to, of people saying that, you know, to buying or selling. Who in the hell's selling on Beamer right now?
I don't know. I read that on the internet, man, on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I saw it all over the place.
I mean,
if you not so high on Beamer, and I'm trying to figure out why.
Well, I mean, other than one off year, he's done nothing but sell the program.
Yeah,
he's put asses in seats. The program has more money coming in than it's ever had in its existence. Yep. NIL has more money. Well, since the beginning of NIL, we just paid our quarterback over $1 million. Who are you kidding? I mean, who are they kidding, man? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, but I mean, you got these people out there that just got no faith in Beamer, and you know, I don't know if it's just a lack of head coaching experience, or I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out myself. I mean, the way the program is headed right now, in my opinion, it can only get better.
Coming from someone who has had conversations with Shane Beamer, Marcus Blackwell, many of the assistant coaches, let me tell you something. His coaches respect him so much, his assistants. There's not one thing that happens that he's not fully aware of. This man, I bet he doesn't sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, okay? And listen, I love to give him a hard time. Matter of fact, I told him the other Saturday night. I looked at him, I said, you know I give you a hard time on YouTube. And he was like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, but I do it with love because I want to be where we were in the Spurrier days. He's like, I do too. I do too. But there's not a kid's name that he can't tell. He can even tell you the mom and daddy's name of the kid. Okay? This guy he lives, breathes, eats, and sleeps Gamecock football. And listen, I don't know if he's going to get us over the mountaintop, but I can tell you one thing. He damn sure is climbing it. He's the best thing we've had since Steve Spurrier, and he's doing it in a whole different, the new era of doing things with these soft kids is what I call them. They can't take a slap on the helmet like they used to because they go crying and they want to transfer. He is, you know, I guess he's more modern if that's the way to say it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you said it right. I mean, you got to eat, breathe, and sleep to be successful, I think, in coaching. And to know the parents' names, that's important. That's important to a lot of these kids to get, you know, to build that relationship, that family bond, not only with the kid, but with their parents. You got to, you know, gain their trust because they're sending up there, 18, 17, 18, 19-year-old sons to, you know, to be entrusted in your hands. So you got to build that relationship, that rapport with the family. You got to get to know them. You got to bond with them. You got to, I don't want to say sell them, but you know what I'm saying? You got to get their buy-in. You know, they trust you, and you know,
absolutely, and
you trust them to send their kid to you as the coach.
You're the father of 2 boys. I'm the father of 1 boy and a daughter, and I'm going to tell you, If I thought either one of my children were not going to be well looked after, then I wouldn't send them there.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. You got to, like you said, you got to establish that good relationship, not only with the young man, but the parents as well. So, and then that's what I think that's what builds a successful program. That builds that, what you always hear about a program's like a family. Well, that's how it starts. You got to build that relationship.
Beamer, okay, after Muschamp left or got relieved of his duties, we all clamored for one thing. Every one of us fanatics, Gamecock fanatics, clamored for one thing. Open to what's going on in the program. Well, Shane Beamer gave us that. There's not very much behind closed doors that he doesn't expose. Where with Muschamp, it was always that coach speak. I'm not afraid to lose my job. That's none of your business. You don't need to know who's hurt. All of that rigmarole that he did.
Yeah.
So Shane opens the door and the curtain rather, and shows us to play on stage. And even me, we all batter him for it because he says dumb things. Well, guess what? He's given us what we asked for. As fans, as boosters, as donors, he's given us what we asked for. All right? Yeah. Stop. Then he overexceeds what Vegas, had for us to do in his first year. Second year, same thing. Third year, kind of took a dip. All right? Fourth year, oh my God. Holy moly, what just happened? South Carolina's in contention to be in the playoffs. Oh, where did they come from? It takes time, people.
Yeah.
It takes time. The man has got more South Carolina grads, alumni, donors, season ticket holders. He is sending us. Listen, and again, do I think he's going to hold the national title? I'm not naive enough to say that. I'm not.
Yeah.
But he's got us going in the right trajectory to be a great program. And people forget this. Yeah. People forget this, that South Carolina is one of the smallest states in the union, okay, per capita. One of the smallest states. And we've got to recruit the DMV, the Floridas, the Georgias, the Alabamas. We've got to recruit those areas that also have big-name colleges. So it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in football. It doesn't happen in basketball. It doesn't happen in baseball. It doesn't happen in any sport. But once you get to a certain level, i.e. Dawn Staley, you don't have to recruit no more. People want to come to you.
Yeah, people want to come to you. You don't have to go. You don't have to work as hard. And going back to recruiting, like you said, we do have to recruit out of South Carolina. We have to go out to the DMV, to Georgia, the Florida, the Tennessee,
Texas,
where
Ohio. Yeah, we got to go.
Texas, Ohio, yeah. And the thing is, right now, a lot of people may or may not see, but Beamer is putting South Carolina, the name of South Carolina, in a lot of these young men's house that would never think about South Carolina.
Correct.
And he is doing that. He is putting us in contention to battle with teams like Georgia, Ohio State, Florida, Tennessee, the big programs, I guess you'd say, Clemson. So if anybody is doubting what Shane Beamer is doing at South Carolina, then they're fooling themselves, man.
And I'm tired of hearing this. I love to give Rob a hard time because Rob, he'll hate South Carolina. Even though he covers them for his job, he'll hate South Carolina. And he will find every excuse in the book. And when you start making sense, he will do is that all that you have, sir? He'll do that dumb shit. So anyway, with that being said, fact of the matter is, Shane Beamer not being a head coach, if you want to climb on that mountain, brother, I'm coming up it with torpedoes, because Dabo Swinney was nothing but a position coach, and y'all wanted to run his ass out of town for many years. And look look where he's got your program to.
Yeah. Old Tiger Red Devil said, as a Clemson fan, he knows all about the head coach saying dumb things. So
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, he was selling insurance before he was that too.
Hey, y'all might not know this, but I know this. Our damn running back coach drove a damn 18-wheeler for 2 years before he went back into damn coaching after he graduated college.
Hey, sometimes you got to do different avenues to get back where you want to go.
Yeah, he was a quarterback in college down in Florida. And when he graduated, he was offered a GA job. He took it, of course. He wasn't making no money. So he started driving trucks, and he did that for 2 years. Like, hey, that coaching thing was a whole lot. I love that more. And that's how he got back into coaching.
Oh, man. And old David Green, he's got the same sentiment as me. He says, I say dumb shit every day. So, yeah. There's not a day I don't say nothing stupid, probably. Tiger
Listen
Red
here, none of them's ever met me in person other than you. But if you sit around and have a conversation with me, I guarantee you I'm going to say something stupid.
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all stuck with your head coach. It paid off. I mean, it says you can't just give up on Beamer right now.
Tell me one reason. I want anybody that's listening to this, that will listen to this, comment on this.
Yeah.
Give me one solid reason why we should move on from Shane Beamer. That's it. And it better be well thought out.
So I got nothing
You
for
can
you
give
on
it
that.
to Say what?
I said I got nothing on that for you. So I don't have any.
I mean, if you think about the history of our program, the best we've ever done is win an ACC title. Way back when, we won an East title. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and I said that same thing when I did a was it a basketball? I think I was talking about Coach Parrish and the basketball team. Name the success we've had in football. We haven't, other than
just said it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so, what makes you think just saying, "Hey, come to South Carolina"? What do you have to sell by just saying that?
I will say this, though, Chuck, and I believe this wholeheartedly. Not that Spurrier would do it, but if you could take us back 15 years ago, if we had the playoffs the way that they are now, okay, I think South Carolina would have been right up there at the top. But in the BCS, it was a whole different ballgame. It was a whole different ballgame. But if you could take those teams and put them in today's CFPs, I think we'd be right there talked about. But you know what?
Yeah.
You can't change the past.
No.
Yeah.
And I agree with you there, Tiger Red Devil. We shouldn't move on, but we got to eventually start competing for SEC championships. I agree with that.
But you know what? Who are you or me or anybody else to set the timetable on that?
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. But, when will that be? We don't know. Hopefully, with the way that he's been recruiting his butt off, with his new NIL, the transfer portal, all that stuff, hopefully it'll be sooner than later. I honestly have a good feeling it's going to be sooner rather than later.
Well, and I'm going to sit here and say this after numerous conversations. Our NIL money is there, okay? And I know a lot of people say, Billy Cole, South Carolina just don't have the NIL money to get the right people in place. Well, you know what, Billy Cole? You're full of shit.
Yeah.
You're full of shit. The money is there. Yeah. Here's the thing. You have to play money ball like Brad Pitt did. You don't blow it all on a damn quarterback that runs out on your damn team, you dumbass Tennessee fan. You spread the wealth, okay? You spread the wealth, and that's what we're doing. We paid Spencer Rattler $1.2 million, and Lenore Sellers making $1.2 million. Now, you tell me why that man's not worth $1.2 million, and I'll call you stupid if you say he's not. Tell me I'm wrong.
I ain't got no argument with that. I think Lenore's is well worth that.
Yeah, I mean, and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it anymore. We are nothing more but the minor leagues of the NFL. That's all we are now.
And I also read an article the other day. Yeah, I do read a little bit. But I read an article the other day talking about the recruiting budget, how much South Carolina spend compared to some of the other SEC teams. And it's like about middle of the pack. I think it's like 1.8 million or 1.9 million. I think it's what they said. And Beamer went to say, reading in the article, I can't remember where I saw it at, but he basically said that they've never been told no when it comes to recruiting budget. Anything they want, they can get, or they can do. But they're not going to go out. But they're not going to go out and and do these elaborate things just for one athlete.
All right, the old saying, "Your grandma and granddaddy." You heard it all your life. One bad apple spoils the bunch. So why would you throw all your money at one person like Tennessee did?
Yeah.
Tennessee did. I have to use them for example because they're the latest. Why would you do that to spoil the atmosphere of your program? It doesn't make sense. You look at the student athlete. First of all, that's what everybody needs to remember first. They're students first, athletes second.
Yep.
Look at the personality of the young man and will he fit in your program? Is he about the right thing? Sometimes you got to take the athleticism out of it. Can he go to class? Can he take tests? Can he manage the day-to-day schedule? On top of the workout routines and the nutrition and everything else. That's the kind of – listen. Who the hell was Nicky Morey? Did anybody even know who he was? Let's be honest. Did anybody know who he was? Did anybody know who Lenore Sellers was? He played right down the road where I live. You know where I live. Right down the damn road, South Florence. Nobody even knew who the hell he was.
What's up, JD? Yeah. So I agree with you. I mean, they're to throw a bunch of money at just one individual, that's not no way to build no program, like you said. You got to share the love. You got to spread the wealth.
And you know what? I'm going to give Dabo Swinney credit where credit's due. I got to give the man credit. Do I hate Clemson? Absolutely. Does Dabo Swinney say dumb shit? Absolutely. But let me tell you something. That man's done it the right way. Okay? He's done it the right way, and him and Shane Beamer are very close friends. That's what people don't realize. Very close friends. And he's used a little bit of Dabo, a little bit of Kirby, a little bit of Lincoln, a little bit of Saban, a little bit of Spurrier, and he's put it all into one little bubble. And as times change, he's developed his style, and you can see a lot of all those individuals I just named in the way he does things.
Yeah.
And so I don't give a damn what nobody says about Dabo Swinney. Clemson could fire him today. He'd be the highest paid football coach in the country tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, he would definitely be highly sought after trying to get him hired. He probably wouldn't last a day on the unemployment line.
No. But anyway, I want to jump on. Love you, brother. I just wanted to give my opinion and hope I don't care if people disagree. That's my opinion. That's the way it is.
All right, bro.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you, man.
Bye-bye.
Well, there y'all have it. Straight from the deal maker. All the facts. But yeah, we got some stuff coming in through the chat talking about recruiting, and that's what I was going to touch on. Beamer's killing it in the recruiting trail, just like JD said. The last 4 recruiting classes, top 25 in the 247, composite and overall. Like TRD said, brought in Kyle Kennard, turned him into an NFL freaking lock. Demetrius Knight, like David Green said, I mean, we've done it by bringing in good recruiting classes. Beamer's done it by bringing in good recruiting classes the last 4 years, brought in some good transfer talent, turned them into, like you said, NFL talent, man. I mean, he's to give up on Beamer, to want to send him down the road packing would be foolish. Any Gamecock fan that would say that would be foolish. So, like my title said, I'm still buying Beamer. I'm in it for the long haul, I guess you'd say. But I mean, as long as he keeps tearing it up on the recruiting trail and bringing in talent, but like TRD said earlier, you got to start competing for SEC championships, and that's the world we live in too. Or the world we live in. Championships matter. Getting to the CFP matter. And that's all we got to do. We were close last year, missed, that LSU game, bit us in the ass. We didn't get that win, so that kept us out. That one in the Alabama, them two games right there really irritate me the most from last year's schedule. Losing them two games the way we did, kind of hurt, kind of stung a lot. But like I said, I think we're on the right trajectory with Beamer. His record overall is like 29-22. I guess he's won the most games in the first 4 years of his tenure than any other South Carolina coach. Got some big wins on his resume. Beat Clemson twice at Death Valley Memorial Stadium. Beat Tennessee. Beat A&M, got that Missouri monkey off our back. We couldn't beat them. We finally got that taken care of. So he's got some very, very notable wins on his resume, in my opinion. I may have missed some. There may be some more out there that I may have missed. But, yeah, I like what he's doing. What's up, P. Digits? How you doing? I was looking at his win-loss total, like what month is his best as far as a winning percentage. And November is the month that he has the most success. So we get off to a slow start, and by November, I guess we turn it on in November. That's whenever we have the most success with Beamer at the helm. He is 13-4, which is like a 76% winning percentage in November. And I was looking at the schedule. The toughest part, in my opinion, is basically we're starting with the LSU game. I think it is. Hold on, let me pull up the schedule real quick. I don't have it. Yeah, I think that the schedule, the stretch of schedule between LSU on October 11th and A&M on November 15th that's going to be a pivotal stretch for the Gamecocks. But going back to what I said, November he turns it on, plays, has the guys playing real well. This year we got Ole Miss, a bye, Texas A&M, Coastal Carolina, and Clemson during that November stretch. That's still a gauntlet right there. We got to go to Texas A&M and we got to go to Ole Miss. We got Clemson at home and Coastal at home. So can we win 3 out of 4? Can we win them all? We'll see. Like I said, Beamer's had great success in November, but that's the November stretch this year. But my worries and my concern starts with the LSU. South Carolina's really got a good shot to get off to a 4-1 start, 3-2 start. I'd say a 4-1. Hey, they may even go 5-0 before the first bye, before the LSU road trip. So who knows? Let's see what else I want to talk about. But like I said, there's no script for this show. So if you're looking for some kind of script, you're in the wrong place. Yeah, go Coastal baseball. I don't know who they play, but I know they're still in the Super Regional. But anybody else want to come on? I'll put the link back in here. Like I said, I ain't gonna stay on too long because I don't want to interfere with Jackpot and Rob. And well, if I know how to do it, there we go. Like I said, anybody come on here, we can talk. But yeah, like I said, I'm high on Beamer as far as a head coach. So I'm interested to see how the season plays out. I think was the Vegas win total like 6.5 or 5.5 or something like that. I don't even know what it is, 7.5. Oh yeah, TRD. Yeah, man. Like I said on like I put in the chat and Rob and Jackpot show, was it last Sunday, whatever it was, or before that regional started. I was pulling for West Virginia because my wife is from West Virginia, and they've been playing some good baseball as of late. So I'm not shocked that they won it. I guess you can say. Well, I'm a little bit shocked they won it, but I'm not shocked that they wouldn't be able to compete. I knew they would be able to compete with Kentucky, with Clemson, with USC Upstate. But yeah, I did pick West Virginia to win that regional. I really like the head coach for Clemson baseball, Backich. I really like him. I think he's a good coach. And I'm not an expert on Clemson baseball, but maybe somebody can tell me why is Jack Leggett still in the dugout? What role does he have on the team? Because I don't see why he's in the dugout for one. I really think I think that might be a distraction for the baseball team, and I may be wrong, but I think that could be a distraction, man, for Backich. I mean, who knows? But Clemson I don't know. I didn't really watch the Kentucky game, the Sunday game, I think it was. I watched the last part of it. I didn't watch the first part of it. So I really don't know what happened there. When I turned it on, they were getting whooped pretty good. So I was smiling pretty big. And but yeah, another collapse. And I think JD, he picked Clemson to go to Omaha, I believe, or go to the Super Regionals. And like I told him the other night, man, I would never pick Clemson to make it back to Omaha until they prove it otherwise, have some consistency. But I don't get the whole. I mean, I don't get the whole. Hey, at least we beat South Carolina. At least we swept South Carolina. I mean, I think JD touched on this the other night. I mean, why would that be something that comes out your mouth in a press conference right after you lost, in the regional at home? I don't think that was a good thing to say. I don't think Clemson fans really cared to hear that. Maybe there's a few that did. And if you yay, we beat South Carolina, then in the famous words of Billy Cole, hang a banner. Hang your banner that says we swept South Carolina, one of the worst South Carolina teams in decades. A team that has fallen apart. We got 14 players in the transfer portal as of this afternoon. It may be more by now. We've lost several pitchers, several guys that transferred in this year. I don't know. If that made you feel good after that performance in the regional, then hey, good for you. But I would be a little perturbed if I heard my head coach saying that, we didn't have a good year, but we beat Clemson. And I know they probably said it. I may have missed it. They probably said it. And it didn't set well with me, I can guarantee you. Because like Tiger Red Devil said a while ago, I don't want to cheer for just beating Clemson. I want to cheer for competing for SEC championships, for national championships, whatever. Yeah, hey, I can't make sense of that. I really can't. TRD. I don't know. that. Yeah, going back to what y'all said earlier, we talked about earlier about coaches saying dumb shit. When he said he didn't realize the strength of the SEC and how hard it was to compete, he kind of lost me there. He kind of lost me there because he ain't been too far removed from playing or from coaching in the SEC. So the game of baseball hasn't changed that much as far as the SEC overall, the SEC. So yeah, I'm scratching my head on that as well. I can't make sense of it, man. If I could, I don't know. I'd probably be doing better on YouTube if I could make sense of shit like that. What's up, Hope? Hope in Jehovah. He says it's amazing. I'll pop that up here. It's amazing that South Carolina didn't fire baseball coach 2026 to make a break for Lamont Paris and Paul Maneri. Paul Maneri, he's got a 5-year contract, and I think it should be make or break for him that year, but I don't think it will be. I honestly don't think it will be. I think they're going to let him play out his probably 5 years. I hope not, but I hope I'm wrong in all this, but I think he'll be the coach until they find somebody, until his time's running out, and they'll find somebody else to replace him, whether it's freaking, what's his name? Just on the staff now. God dang it. I can't think of the guy's name now, but I don't like him. Monty Lee. Whether it's Monty Lee or whatever. Hopefully Jeremiah Donati will his patience will run out before then, but I don't think so. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on the Paul Maneri part of that. I think it should be make or break, but I don't think it will be. Lamont Paris, I'm not ready to give up on Lamont yet. Really not. I really think he's got a good opportunity to do some good things at South Carolina. I got faith in him. So I don't think it's make or break for him next year. Plans for a mariachi band on top of the dugout. Oh, David Green. Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah. So I don't know. Man, this show's. I don't know what to talk about here. Make sure I covered everybody's comment in the chat. Yep, he did it right. He ain't been on Omaha since 2010. 2010. So, yeah, y'all lost a couple pictures, didn't you? I think I read something where Clemson's lost some pictures, a couple of them. I don't think there was any contributors. I don't think so. But Let's see what else I'm going to talk about here. It's hard to do this show by myself, so it's good to have people on. Trying to think of what else I was going to talk about. Oh, kickoff times, man. I got I lost 3. They announced the kickoff times for the first 3 games. The Virginia Tech's at 3:00. The South Carolina State game, I believe, is at 7:00. Let's see if I can find that real quick. I had it somewhere, and I believe the third game with Vanderbilt was like a 7:45 kickoff. So your first 2 home games or night games at Williams-Brice Stadium. 7:30. Yeah, somewhere like that. I did see the schedule. Dang it. What the freak did I do with it? I know they announced it. But anyway, the first 3 games should be, the first 2 home games will be night games in Williams-Brice. And the first game is at 7. And I think the second game is at 7:30, 7:45 or something like that. I guess it depends on who else is playing and what TV network they put it on, whether it's the SEC network or ESPN or whatever. But that's the Vanderbilt game, ain't it? I believe it is. Let me get back to my schedule. Yada, 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 yada. Yeah, South Carolina State will be 7. That'll probably be on ESPN Plus or something like that. One of the channels that you can't get. But I will be doing the game reaction. So, and then Vanderbilt will be probably 7:30. I don't know when they're going to release the other ones. 7 to 7:45. David Green says. So there you go. I know it's 7. I know that's 7. I got it written down somewhere, but I can't find it. Yeah, and they'll probably release the other games probably a week or so in advance as the season continues to roll along, and I guess depends on how good South Carolina does and their schedule, how well their opponents are doing, whether or not they put them in prime time or a 12:00 kickoff on SEC Network or whatever. But it's got to be great, though. It's got to be great to have 2 night games in Williams-Brice to open the home season or the season off, to open the season, So, yeah, we're playing Virginia Tech in Atlanta. That'll be a 3:00 game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I probably won't go to any games this year. I'll probably do a lot of reaction videos and lives and stuff. I got to compete with Jackpot. Nah, just kidding. He's got way more subscribers than me, so I'm just gonna get on here and have a good time, and whoever watches, and we'll just have a good time with it. A lot easier to get tipsy with night game. Yep. If that's what you like to do, give you a good chance to get a little tipsy there. I'm sure you got some great insight there, P Digits, and I don't bring much to the table either. I just like to get on here, like I've said before. I like to get on here and just run my mouth a little bit and talk nonsense, jibber jabber, a lot of fluff. So I try to do a good job. I try to do, honestly. I'm still a work in progress. Nowhere near the level of some people on here. I guess I don't have the gift to gab, I guess you say, or to chat, to talk. I'm a little nervous when it comes to doing stuff like this. You figure I'd be out of it by now, but I'm not. Tony Steele, head coach, Virginia Tech. Tony who? I can't remember what the head coach's name is. Digits and Bowman are my favorite Clemson fans. Who Bowman? Has he been on here? I don't know if he's been on here or not. Yeah, P Digits is cool. TRD. He's good stuff too. Ex-Clemson coach. No, he's gone. You talking about oh my God. Was he like the offensive coordinator at Clemson one time? Yeah, I think he got fired like 2 years ago or something like that. I think he got fired a couple of years ago. It's Brent Pry. Brent Pry is the new head coach, or the head coach at Clemson, at Virginia Tech. I think this is second or third year. Jordan Bowman. Y'all know him. But yeah, Brent Pry is the head coach. This is third year. That's he started at 22. So yeah, this is going into his fourth season with Virginia Tech. So that's gonna be an interesting game, man, because like I was talking about earlier, South Carolina's win-loss under Beamer in each month, and August and September they get off to a slow start. And Virginia Tech's got an opportunity to upset, or I guess I don't know if you call it an upset, but they got a chance to beat an SEC team to start the year. Will they do it? I believe they'll do it. No, I don't think so. I think South Carolina will have too much for them, and we'll be able to get it done. I don't think Virginia Tech will upset South Carolina, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. That's just as of right now, unless something crazy happens during the fall camp, which could happen. It could happen, but I don't think it will. I don't think South Carolina will lose to Virginia Tech. I think it's very important that we get off to a hot start in that game. Got to let Norris loose and let him do his thing like he did last year, and we'll be straight. We'll be all right. I know P Digit said he was going to get in here in a minute, so wait and see him jump on. Like I said, if anybody else want to come in here, talk, ramble, talk about whatever, we talk about whatever. If I don't know, I'll try to make some stuff up, I guess. So I ain't gonna act like I know everything, because I don't. I sure don't. What's South Carolina's class ranking in football in regards to recruiting? You talking about this year? You talking about the class of 25? If you're talking about the class of 2025, that would be number 22 overall, according to 247. And the 247 composite's like an 18. If you're talking about the class of 2025. And like I said earlier, man, we talked about buying and selling Beamer and all this and that, but he's doing some work on the recruiting trail. We got a young man I saw on X or Twitter, whatever it was the other day. I mean, we got a young man that's a Florida State commit, a running back. I think he's a 4-star running back. I want to say he's 4-star, but he's some people think he's going to flip. And we get a lot of good crystal balls for some 4-star blue chip players out there. So who knows? All right, we got P Digits in here. Let's welcome him into the show. Oh yeah. 2026. I ain't even worried about that right now. 25. Like I said, Beamer worked this magic. Got a good class in there for class of 25. What's up, P Digits?
What's up, Chuck? How you doing, buddy?
Oh man, I'm here, just hanging out, just chilling.
Yeah,
Man.
I'm determining that Domino's pizza is just awful. That's trash pizza.
I concur. I'm not a big Domino's fan.
No, just trash. One thing I do want to talk about real quick with you is that just get back to baseball. I watched a lot of games this weekend, and well, my wife too. She's a big sports nut, and so one thing that we were talking about, like all the way across the board with baseball, was how bad the pitching has gotten all the way across baseball, the number of batters that were getting hit. And I mean, this has been Clemson's problem all year, is the fielding, the defense, but it's all the way across the board. Right before the regional started, I watch, you ever watch Coos Corner and some of those other guys from West Virginia?
Oh yeah. Coos Corner, yeah, he's a good friend of mine. I've been on his show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they do a terrific job. And one of the guys was talking about the baseball team, and so I kind of kept up with it. And when I saw them hit our regional, I was like, we're screwed, because we kind of pulled. I thought we had a pretty tough regional with Kentucky and West Virginia.
Oh yeah.
Upstate's no slouch. It's baseball, so anybody can get bit at any day. But it's the baseball has changed a little bit, and or college baseball has changed a little bit. It's just not the quality that we used to have when South Carolina was winning those championships. Back then was probably like beginning of the end of good quality college baseball, and I don't know if it's the transfer portal or if it's whatever it is,
Yeah.
But it has changed.
Oh yeah, definitely. And going back to what you said, the pitching, you observed there's been a lot of bad pitching, and South Carolina struggled with pitching all year. We couldn't keep some of our better pitchers healthy, and two, it was just abysmal. Our bullpen was I don't even know if we even had a bullpen. It wasn't a solid bullpen. And, going back to what, that John Whittle, the Big Spur or whatever, he put out that article talking about the baseball team, how they got rid of the TrackMan, the one, I guess, that pitching tool that they track the pitches and helps the pitchers out. They got rid of that. They didn't, I guess, dedicate themselves to practice and things like that. You kind of see why South Carolina had a bad year when it comes to baseball. And I don't know if that had an effect on the pitching, but like you said, pitching's been atrocious across the board this year. And yeah, I don't know what could be the contributing factor for you guys, but I think the way that Paul Maneri came in there and changed things up and got rid of certain things like the TrackMan or whatever, which I don't really think about the TrackMan. I guess it's some kind of fancy tool, but I think that did us a disservice by not, sticking what we was already doing.
Yeah, and it's kind of like what Tiger Red Devil, what he put up just now on a comment. Tiger, you're correct with they were the dynasty, and it really was. I remember Ray Tanner being at NC State before he went to South Carolina, and for years his baseball teams were just super solid all the way across the board. Nothing lasts forever, It's just like that 80s football and at Clemson, and my years as a late teenager, early 20s, in the 90s. You're kind of sitting there going, well, why can't we recapture that magic Is sometimes it's just you gotta just let it burn and build it back up, in a sense. But one thing that I am really looking forward to next year and watching, especially in the SEC, because SEC has really good baseball.
Yeah.
I think ACC has really good baseball, but Mississippi State going and getting Brian O'Connor from Virginia, that could be funny. Tiger, Tommy West days, yeah, no kidding. Uh, but them getting Brian O'Connor's huge. I mean, Mississippi State, if there's one thing that they do well with baseball, and their pride. There's a lot of pride in that baseball program. What are we, like 3 or 4 years out, and they won the national championship?
Yeah.
And I mean, and this guy that they brought in, I mean, I think it was not even half the season they went ahead and let him go. So yeah, I think Brian O'Connor, he was over at Virginia for a long time. Picking him up is going to be something else at Mississippi State.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's only going to strengthen the SEC more by bringing him over to
Absolutely.
To the state.
Yep.
But like you said earlier, you alluded to this a little bit ago. You said that anybody can be beaten in baseball, and that's shocked this past weekend, because so many of the top programs what was supposed to be top programs are no longer playing. Vanderbilt, Texas. God, who else lost? There was a lot of teams that lost. That everybody.
Georgia.
Georgia had a solid
they
year.
Lost too. Yeah.
Ole Miss lost.
Yep.
I mean, baseball is one of them games that, like somebody, I can't remember who said this. It might have been Jackpot or Rob or somebody. If you can play baseball, you're going to be on a team and you're going to get found. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's going to get a good prospect. If they keep putting them together, things like what happened this past weekend with a lot of top seeds going down.
Sure. Well, yeah, if they're finding players in Mexico and Dominican Republic, yeah, you can be found in America if you're playing good baseball. Period.
And things like what happened this weekend is going to happen. So
yeah, and a lot of your best baseball players that actually make it to the show, to the major league, they didn't play at a big college. They went junior college, because you can go one year into junior college and be able to jump right back out if you're not already picked up right out of high school. So that's just the way that baseball works. But anybody can be anybody in baseball. I mean, if you have followed Major League Baseball and you just look over the last 20 years and see which team that won the World Series. Now, throw the Yankees out of there because they're never in this situation with all that money. But look at all the other teams. Look to see how they jumped into the playoffs. Did they come in as a wild card? Because those wild card teams, it's just like when Atlanta won it the last time, they were a wild card. And it's just you're playing hot at that time. I'm a huge St. Louis Cardinals fan, and there was a year when we had Pujols and Yachty there, and they won over 100 games, by far the best team in baseball. They got into the playoffs. They kind of stumbled in that first round. You could kind of tell that things were just a little bit off, and the next round they got knocked out.
Yeah.
So to me, when it comes to baseball, rarely does the best team ever win.
Oh yeah. Yep, I agree with you. I don't follow Major League Baseball like I used to, but yeah, I mean, I remember when the Braves, when they won it, coming from like you said, the wild card, and won it all. And yeah, like I said, I'm not very versed on Major League Baseball right now. So
yeah, I was probably more in tune with it when I was in high school and in college. Life begins, and it's kind of hard to keep up with everything.
Exactly. It's kind of hard to keep up with life sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So you were talking about the South Carolina schedule.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Who is your first game against?
Virginia Tech in Atlanta.
Here, I'm gonna bring it up on my computer real quick.
It's Vautech at Mercedes-Benz. Sunday, August 31st.
That's a win. That's a
Yeah,
win for you guys.
that's what I figure.
I'm not a believer in their coach just yet.
No,
They're a little bit better than what they've been for the last 5 years, but still not too much of a believer in them. So the next game is, why is this not showing?
South
Is
Carolina
it
State.
South Carolina State?
That's a win.
Yeah, I would say that's a win. Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt, so should be a win. It's at home.
Yeah,
So
that's a win.
like I said, the first 5 games sets us up for.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then
I
I would be careful at Missouri.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's hard to win them for Rofield. Well, for the Gamecocks
And then you've got Kentucky
at home.
Okay, so that's I don't really know what that team is going to be like this year at all. Did that? Is it the same quarterback? Did he stay?
No, that was Georgia quarterback.
Yeah,
he's gone.
Okay.
What's his name? Oh God, I can't think of his name.
I can't remember.
Ben McGriff.
There you go. He said you do a good job at this.
So he left. Well, he's out of eligibility. And I don't know who they brought. I can't remember who they brought in through the transfer portal. But I think Mark Stoops is kind of like on a decline.
Maybe.
I think we should win that game. Honestly,
I think Kentucky. I think Kentucky fans stay with them though. I mean, they haven't had this much success.
They've never had this much success. I don't think.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of one coach that was there that he did fairly decent. Let's see. I told you I bring nothing, so I have no names.
You got a bye week.
South Carolina at LSU. I'm worried about Clemson against LSU. I'll tell you the truth.
Really?
Yeah, I really am. I really don't know what this defense is going to look like for Clemson.
The good thing about Clemson getting LSU is y'all get them first game or beginning of the season.
Yeah, and we get them at home, so that helps.
We have to travel to Death Valley, and more than likely it's going to be a night game.
Yes, it's at LSU.
It's hard to win at LSU at night,
and they will be a better team in October 11th than they will the first week of the season. So
exactly. So
that's a pretty tough one. What do you think about Oklahoma?
I don't know, man. I just don't know if Brent Venables is the man for the job out there.
Yeah, well, I hope
really
he's not. And he comes back. We need him around Hartwell Lake, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I mean he's a heck of a defensive coordinator, but I just don't. I guess you could say the same thing about Beamer. He's a good recruiting coordinator, but I mean, whenever he first started, is he head coach?
I'm telling you right now, Beamer's growing into a good head coach. I think as a head coach, he is getting better every year. The thing with Brent Venables, because I kind of kept up with him before he ever came to Clemson, and he was out there at Oklahoma, because I thought Stoops kind of did him dirty when he brought his brother in and made him co-defensive coordinators, and that's what gave the opportunity for Dabo to go ahead and pluck him. But I don't think Brent Venables has interviewed very well for head coaching jobs. I mean, he played at Kansas State, tried to get that job, I think twice, and he was turned down. And there's been other jobs that he's tried to get as head coach. So, some guys are just better as coordinators than they are coaches. Period.
I think he will eventually evolve into a good head coach if they give him an opportunity. If they'll keep him around. But Oklahoma, they expect to win.
Well, I don't know if he's really that bad of a head coach, because there was such a vacuum that got sucked out of there when Riley left. Yeah. So I don't know if that's some of some of it that kind of went along with it. I mean, when people were talking about firing him after 2 years, I thought that was ridiculous. Give the man 5 years, 6 years,
Yeah.
and I think if he's a good coach, it's going to show. But
Yeah.
I saw where I think Todd said, October is vicious on the schedule this year, and it's true. I mean, you got Alabama coming in.
Yeah. And that game last year stings a lot because we should have beat Alabama.
Yeah, you should have.
I mean,
I think there were 2 games that you guys should have definitely won.
Yeah.
Alabama's one of them,
and
LSU's LSU.
Yeah, them 2 games right there, really, yeah. But yeah, October. That's what I was saying earlier. October. That's gonna be them 4 games right there: LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, and then that's gonna dictate what kind of season we have.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can throw Texas A&M in there as well, but I mean that's after a bye week, so we should play better after that bye week. So
Clemson has a tendency to play worse. I don't get it when they have a bye week. Last year's team was an enigma to me. It just didn't seem like they were just kind of going through the motions of things.
Yeah. Now you mentioned something about you're not sure about Clemson's defense. What do you?
Yeah.
At a snapshot look, what do you think about y'all's season? As far as
not really sure. I mean, I think there's a few teams in the ACC that can get us. It is the ACC. I'm not going to be sitting here pounding the ACC. I can't stand the ACC. I've been wanting to get out of the ACC for well over 10 years. It's just, not enjoyable. I kind of like, I'm looking over at your schedule and I get a little jealous. You guys have something every week to get all pumped up about. And with Clemson football, it's not like that. You have your certain weeks that you're looking forward to it, but then you have some weeks and you're just kind of going through the motion of it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're sitting around like, what does the wife have me to do today that I can do?
Well, no, I'm gonna watch the games, but it's just when I mean, especially like in the late 20 teens, when we were playing people, it was just ridiculous. 60 something points, 70 something points, and and those were good teams. And I'm not saying that they would put 60 or 70 points throughout the whole country, but they were really solid football teams. But it's just, I think Louisville is definitely a team that can bite Clemson. They did it last year, and they did it, and they didn't just bite Clemson. They chewed them up and spit them out. I think Georgia Tech is going to be a little bit more difficult one. I'm going to have to pull up the schedule to be able to kind of go through this whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Sorry, guys. I told you, just read down there. I bring nothing. I bring absolutely nothing.
Let's see schedule.
Okay, so we got LSU. Oh, and I'll say this: I like Troy. I have a tendency to cheer for Troy. I think they got a pretty solid program. Then we're at Georgia Tech. I think that could be difficult. I mean, there's a good possibility you're starting off the season after Georgia Tech 1-2. Syracuse, I think Syracuse is moving in the right direction.
Yep.
Then we have an open date. And then we get, and my wife is going to hate this, especially if she's listening to this. Then we got the Jordan Tar Heels or Jordan Tar Heels coming in.
Is she a Tar Heel fan?
Unfortunately, Chuck, some people just don't have any taste. And this is the God honest truth, that there's one team or one school that I can't stand. It's North Carolina. Every time you guys play them, I cheer for you guys. God works. He's funny. He works in mysterious ways, and I end up having a wife that there's North Carolina crap all over my house right now. So,
Oh Lord.
so then we have, so yeah, I think I do not think North Carolina is going to be very good at all.
Yeah.
Boston College, watch out again. Watch out. They were showing some promise last year. SMU, I don't know what SMU is going to be like. I don't know who left on that team.
Yeah.
And it looks like we have them at home, and then we have an open date. Duke, be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful with Duke. And then Florida State. No, I don't think Florida State will. I think Florida State will be better, but they're not going to be last in the conference this year.
No.
Louisville. Here we go again, and we're at Louisville. So yeah, that's going to be a pretty tough one.
Wasn't last year's game pretty close?
What with Louisville?
Yeah.
No, we got ran off our own field.
That's right. That's right. They did.
Yeah, they absolutely destroyed us. That quarterback threw for well over 400 yards. They ran for a lot, and that was my thing last year with the defense. The spacing on the line is something I hadn't seen in years. I mean, everybody was getting lanes against Clemson last year. And when I saw Sellers start to turn it on with his wheels, I was like, oh, crap, And the same thing happened with you guys. It's not that we have bad defensive linemen. I don't think we had a defensive coordinator last year that really had a scheme. I think he was, the linebackers played really well, but he's always been a linebacker coach.
Yeah.
But that line, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. Then of course we got Furman. Yeah, we'll just move on from that. And then of course, at South Carolina, and more likely that'll be a I'm hoping that's a late night game, because if it's a late night game, that means both of our programs are doing pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, y'all scheduled, yeah. Let me look through it again. Yeah, man, if y'all can get off to a good start, beat LSU.
Sure.
Georgia Tech, I think that's going to be a toss-up game for you guys.
Yeah,
and I think Syracuse is going to have something.
Oh yeah,
for you guys. I mean, I wouldn't sleep on them. I know it's at y'all's house, but
doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, Syracuse they're moving in the right direction, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not high on Mac. What's his name? Belichick.
I'm a huge
girlfriend's name
New England Patriots fan, so we had a saying in Bill we trust, but it's like I tease my wife. We got the best out of Bill.
Yeah, y'all got leftovers.
Yeah, now he's moving on. He's going to get engaged with Jordan. She's going to completely be the downfall of old Bill Belichick. Yeah, Boston College I think is going to be a pretty good football team.
Yeah, SMU, that was my sleeper last year in the ACC, or who I thought was going to win the ACC.
They were kind of.
I just don't think they got.
Games, how many games did you watch them play last year?
Probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, they were fun to watch, weren't they?
Oh yeah. Until they crapped the bed, and I forgot what game that was I was watching. I can't remember, but yeah, they were my team for last year for ACC. But this year, like you said, don't know who they got.
Yeah.
I haven't got any of the magazines that's coming out yet, so I don't know who they're returning, who they brought in. So
yeah, I hate reading, so I'm going to leave that up to you guys and let you tell me on YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. I don't hate reading.
Well, I do too. I hate reading too. The only stuff I read if it's sports related. I'm not cracking open no book and reading anything. My wife, she'll sit there and read all night long. Matter of fact, it's probably what she's doing now. So, Duke, was that Manny Diaz?
Yeah,
He's gonna bring a a good squad into Clemson.
You know, and surprisingly, Duke is putting money into their football program.
Oh yeah.
You know, and they've been trying. And that's I guess that's some of my thing with being in the ACC is how many schools have not invested it toward football, and that's just been aggravating because the money's there. But you know, these are private schools, and half of them are private schools, and you know, and then of course, you know, bringing in, you know, I was more happy that SMU came into the ACC than I was Stanford in California coming in.
Yeah, that's odd. That's a weird. Yeah,
that was
that's a weird alignment.
Play by the only reason that happened is because Jim Phillips needs the votes in order, because the votes were pretty close with some of these members in the ACC to get rid of the ACC. They had the vote; they were getting close to those votes. He pulled those other three teams in. They can now vote with Notre Dame, which I think is ridiculous that they can vote for football and they're not even in the conference.
Yeah.
But they can. That was just a power play for numbers. That's all that was right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those teams needed a home. They needed a home.
Yeah. I don't understand the whole Notre Dame thing. If I was an ACC team, I would be furious.
Yeah.
Every time I played that team, because that makes no sense.
Yep, I agree. But that was, you know, there's a lot of links between North Carolina and Notre Dame. There's a lot. You know, the last the last commissioner that we had, he graduated from North Carolina, played football at North Carolina, athletic director at North Carolina, becomes the commissioner, makes a lot of bad deals. And I think bringing Notre Dame in was able to basically, the commissioner was not a very good businessman, and I think Notre Dame is very savvy when it comes to that, and they got one over on them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And David Green said, Hustler does not cover football, Chuck. No, they don't.
They used to. No, I'm just kidding.
They probably had an edition, edition of it. Then you got Florida State, which I'm not high on Florida State. Louisville.
No, neither am I.
Louisville, I don't know what they got. I have to do some research on them. The thing about that is it's at Louisville. So that'll be an interesting game.
Louisville's got something, Chuck. They got something.
Yeah.
So I think they bring back mostly everybody on offense. And Bream is he was an offensive style coach. So I think that'll be definitely difficult. And look at that. It's Friday night that you got a freaking Friday night football games. If you go back and I need to go back and look at the record of Friday night games for Clemson. They usually don't fare well on Friday nights.
That's a Friday night, 14th.
Yep.
That's odd.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a good game. Furman will probably put up 10 points on you, and then that'll be it. Don't they usually score at least a touchdown?
Oh, well, let me think. A few years back, I think we only won by 10, 27-20 or something like that.
Well, see, there you go. They're gonna put up some points, a few points.
Yeah.
And then of course at South Carolina, which we'll see how that game plays out. I was at the last one day we're there whenever South Carolina played Clemson, and I wasn't happy.
Yeah, well, it's a rivalry game too, and you know how those go. You might even have the best team, but it doesn't always work out that way for you.
Exactly. So But hey, you brought some good stuff to the table, man. You helped out.
Well, I bring nothing, Chuck. Absolutely nothing. So, and David, I agree with you with the whole Klubnik and blowing them up. I think they are blowing Klubnik up a little bit too much.
You don't think he's
Um,
Heisman Trophy candidate?
no, and now I'm not going to say that I haven't seen improvement because I have, especially last year. You started seeing improvement more so
Yeah.
on at the latter end of the season. I mean, he was throwing some of those balls he threw with a lot of confidence, and they were tough throws. Um, but to say that, I don't know. I'd rather be pleasantly surprised that he's in the running for a Heisman. Not that I even give a crap about the Heisman.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be pleasantly surprised. I've seen a lot of Clemson players on that list before. I will say one I really felt like he deserved it. And I'm not talking about Deshaun Watson because Lamar Jackson that year, there was no one that could touch what he was doing at
Yeah.
Louisville that year. That was insane. So yeah, not under pressure. Yeah, you're right, David. Not under pressure.
Yep.
So so Chuck, are you still doing the odd jobs and
Oh
all
yeah.
that, or yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Matter of fact, I worked all day Monday,
Did you?
and I worked a little bit today when I got off work for about an hour or two.
Okay.
So, yep. So you got, you know how life goes.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, man.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do
That's exactly right.
to make it. Like I told somebody, when you got a family and they depending on you, pride is not a word.
Yeah,
You know,
that's right.
you do what you got to do.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't do anything illegal. It's all
Well,
legit.
I kind of question that, but we won't talk about that right now on
I don't
air.
do anything illegal. It's all legit as far as I know. And yeah, I mean, like I said, you got to do it sometimes.
Yes, that's right.
So
I know I did it for years. So and there's Scott Collins. Scott, how you doing, buddy?
Scott, man, you like way late, dude. He's usually one of my first ones in here.
Yeah.
So, but you have to go back and watch the replay there, Scott, because I'm getting ready to get off here for a few minutes. So,
Well, Chuck, I appreciate you letting me up and run my trap and bring nothing.
yeah.
But
Anyway, you're more than welcome on here anytime, man. I mean,
I appreciate that.
You see what I do? I don't bring nothing to the table either, but
oh, you do a good
I don't
job,
bring
man.
nothing to the table. I just come on here and yap. So
No, you do a good job. Now, I really do enjoy I really do enjoy. I enjoyed you guys last year, even during football season. I was listening to you guys, and sometimes I don't like listening. I don't like to listen to an echo chamber. I'm a Clemson fan, so sometimes you're hearing the same thing that you're thinking.
yeah.
So I kind of like hanging out with you guys, especially with some of those football games, and of course I enjoyed the ladies basketball. I think you do a really good job with that, man.
I appreciate it. I try, man. I'm still learning how to do this thing, so
yeah.
So
You just need to put the swear jar up, and you need to stay committed to drop some change in it when you're unloading. That's hilarious.
Oh my God, I don't know if I have enough change to do it.
Yeah, you might have to get another little sidekick. So
I'd have to take out a loan just to fill the jar up. Especially, yeah, it depends on how.
Yes, David.
So.
David, you're right. I am all Angel Reese. Do you ever see those little shorts about Angel Reese and those guys keep yelling bang, whenever she's missing a shot. Have you seen those, Chuck?
No.
Those things are hilarious.
Yeah, Scott's right. I'll go broke. But yeah, I'm not an Angel Reese fan. I think she's got and I like watching women's basketball. You know that, but I think she's got the ugliest shot. I mean,
That was bad.
I think her shot rivals Shaquille O'Neal's free throws.
Yeah, she reminds the hype behind her. You know, really, the only one I can think of that had similar hype, and they still played in the league. They just didn't really ever become anything in the league. Was like that Baby Jordan guy back in the day. Remember him from Southern Cal? But Angel Reese, to me, no, she gets a lot of me bounds.
Yep.
And you know, they took her out of, I think 2 games ago, they kept her on the bench in the fourth quarter, and Cardoza went off. And I think that's where that team needs to be feeding that ball is to Cardoza. So, she's the new height me bounds. That's right. And but there's been a lot of times, you know, there have been a few times where they've played a pretty good high-low game between Reese and Cardoza, but Reese doesn't do it enough, you know, and Cardoza usually has really good, she does really well with positioning, you know, and being in position. So, yeah, I think if they did a little bit more of that high-low game, it really is on Reese, but I don't see any kind of improvement. I see it with Cardoza. I see improvement from last year to this year, but I don't see it with Reese. Yeah,
they got to get her bought into, like you said, that high-low. If they do that, they could probably be unstoppable.
They'd be pretty formidable. That's for sure. Yeah, absolutely. But they let her handle the ball too much too. So you know, she doesn't need to be dribbling. She's a block girl. Get her down on the block and let her play from there. And you might see a little bit better results from it.
Yep. Oh, David Green.
Yeah, no, he's funny. I like David.
Oh, Sophie. Is that Sophie Cunningham? Is that who?
Yeah, I think so. And yes, sir. I agree, David. Yes. 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 Yeah. But yeah, David Scott, all these guys on here, Todd, all these guys, they're really good guys. The only person that I really don't like that comes on here is that JD guy. You know?
Yeah, no, he's a jerk.
Yeah, I can't stand him.
He thinks he knows everything. And
he's not just a jerk, Chuck. He's a fried jerk.
Yeah. I can't get it with him sometimes, man. I hope he never calls in because I would hate to talk to him.
Oh yeah, exactly. And
you talk about bringing nothing to the table.
Yeah, well, yeah, well that's definitely me. I mean, JD even does a better job than I do on that. But no. So I'm sure our names might get spilled on Twitter here in about 30 minutes. After this, if he's still listening.
Yeah, he will blow up Twitter talking about us.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, well, I appreciate you, P. Digits, for hopping on and for supporting the show and tuning in and all that, man. I really do appreciate it. So,
you do a good job, Chuck. Don't be so hard on yourself, man. You do a really good job with this. Just keep keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for those stars. You know, you'll be fine with this. But no, I'll jump on again some other time. But other than that, have a really good week, man.
You too, bro.
And be safe, be well.
You too, man. Have a good one.
Later, buddy.
All right. So there you have P. Digits was on here. We had Jordan Dealmaker come on here earlier. And like we said earlier, I'm buying Shane Beamer. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. I'm getting ready to hop off of here. I went a little longer than what I wanted to, but it was okay. We had some good time, had some good conversation. And but make sure you guys are hitting that like button, subscribe, comment, follow, all that stuff, you know. hit the notification bell. That way you guys get notified and all that good stuff. And yeah, I guess we'll see you guys in the next episode. Hopefully it'll be next Wednesday. So everybody had a good week, a good rest of the week, good weekend. Scott, David, P Digits, JD, Jordan Dealmaker, Todd, everybody, man. TRD, y'all have a good week. Hope, and we'll see you guys in the next one.